Star Wars 7x7, episode 2696. So today would normally be a What to Watch Now segment of the podcast. And so seeing as how we're about to finish off the Star Wars Holiday Special, I guess I'll just say What to Watch Now is the Star Wars Holiday Special. And for today, we're going to talk about that final quarter of the show, which is the one where they just basically lose their minds. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So this was episode 140, yeah, that long ago in November of 2014, when I finished my rewatch of the holiday special for the first time as an adult. And man, oh man, it's just... You know, I go from like shell-shocked to awkward to like, okay, this is kind of cool. I agree with George Lucas on that for sure. To then, I also agree with George Lucas. This is just nuts. This is out of control what's happening by the end of this thing. And the title of this episode, What Moral Decay Looks Like on Life Day, is taken from something that I said during the recording of that episode, which you'll get to hear in due course. Along with me wondering how anybody talks about this quarter of the holiday special without swearing. And funnily enough, as I'm recording this, like when I'm telling you that this last quarter of the thing is nuts, like I'm having the same experience. Like there are euphemisms that I would prefer to use that I feel like are more appropriate for the situation. But, you know, the podcast is basically following the rules of Star Wars. If it's a thing that they wouldn't say in a Star Wars movie, I'm not going to say it on here. It's just, you know, seems like a, you know, easy place to draw the line. So yeah, I just cannot tell you in strong enough terms how nuts this final quarter of the holiday special is. The fact remains is just, you're going to have to watch it for yourself. Watch it again for yourself, whatever the case may be. I have it linked at the blog post for the show's episode at sw7x7.com and in the show notes for this episode as well. So yeah, here, without further ado, are my reactions 7 years ago to rewatching that part of the holiday special for the first time as an adult. All right, so we've gone from long and boring to awkward and uncomfortable, and finally moments of brilliance in the Star Wars Holiday Special. And then in the last quarter, it just loses its darn mind. I can't even begin to describe it. You know, I promised that I would not be using foul language on this podcast, and I will stay true to that. But I tell you, sometimes you look at this stuff and I don't even know how you could adequately explain it without swearing, but here we go anyway. So we're presented with a Life on Tweetoween thing that an Imperial broadcast says all citizens are required to watch basically as an example of of what moral decay looks like. And moral decay looks like the cantina being run by B. Arthur for God. Oh man. And Harvey Korman appears for the third time here, somehow with a means of drinking liquid through a hole in his head, and is uncomfortably hitting on and stalking B. Arthur. So already we have strained the bounds of credulity beyond all measure. And yet we stay with this scene for another interminable stretch of time while B. Arthur sings a song about how people won't leave the bar even though martial law has been imposed on the place. Oh man, I would have been running out of this bar right away. Then we get treated to an action scene, what resembles an action scene, which is really just Han Solo doing one fake sidestep to get a stormtrooper to trip on a conveniently placed pile of logs and fall off the deck of Itchy and Chewy and Lumpy's homes and go flying off with the attendant Wilhelm scream. So yeah, nod to whoever threw that in. And then to top matters off, the special finally, absolutely, utterly goes 2001: A Space Odyssey ending on us, and all the Wookiees raise their stones up in the air and suddenly are transformed into red robes to go transport themselves in spirit form to the Tree of Life, or at least we assume that it's in spirit form to the Tree of Life, because suddenly they are walking against a star field into a giant bright light, which ends up at another set someplace else where conveniently Princess Leia has decided to show up after not caring a thing about anything in the proceedings earlier, and to sing a lovely Life Day song. And finally, the masterpiece that is the Star Wars Holiday Special is over. Now, we had this linked at the blog post for episode 136, and I'll go ahead and link it at this blog post's episode as well, just in case you want to watch it. And, you know, the truth is, as painful and weird as it was to watch, I'm glad I did it. It was kind of a thrill to see it back then, and I still had a little pang here and there of awesomeness, of like, yeah, I remember this was cool. And you know what? What the heck? It's an interesting dive into nostalgia, if nothing else, and it might make you laugh even if it's for the wrong reason. So do check it out with our humble apologies for putting yourself through it at the same time. And there you go. We've made it through a discussion of the Star Wars Holiday Special, broken down into 4 boring, awkward, exciting, and crazy pieces. And again, I can't necessarily recommend watching the Holiday Special, but honestly, I do kind of want to recommend it. If you've never seen it, please consider taking the time to watch it. Watch it with your family and just watch how everybody reacts and have a blast going, this is just, what is this, right? I mean, yeah, you will say that probably a lot. And let me know what you think if you rewatch it. And yeah, tell me about it wherever you see a comment section where you catch this episode. And if not there, then home base for the show, sw7x7.com. On Twitter, SW7x7 Podcast. Let me know what you think about it. I'd love to hear it. And so that is going to do it for this episode of the show today. And it just remains for me to say, thank you so much for joining me for it as always. And may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.